Gemini, the twins, how are both of you guys doing? Hope pretty well. Okay, remember guys, just as a reminder, this is a general reading. So all the messages here will not pertain to your unique situation as of this month. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. That's very important for any reading on YouTube, just in general, because that's why we call them general readings. So everything here will not completely, pertain to you. Also, since this is a general reading, I'm throwing as many messages as I can out there. You may see, or you have seen, that things tend to switch in my readings. Like I'll kind of go off on one tangent and then kind of go off on another and maybe bring it back. It just depends. Sometimes the readings have one solidified, theme or idea, and sometimes they don't. So as I'm going through this, remember it's a general reading, so I'm gonna just give as much as I can. Okay, guys? So take what doesn't and leave what, take what does and leave what doesn't. Which leads me to my next point. If you guys would like a private reading so that the entire spread and the entire messages pertain specifically to your unique situation, go ahead and check the description box for a link there on how to obtain one and information on it. Also, if you guys would like to skip this intro and the astrology that I give from the 1st to the 15th of every month, see the comments section for a pinned comment by me. It's the first one with the timestamp available. Okay, guys? Once again, if you guys would like to skip the shuffling and all the introduction and all that stuff, check the comments section for the timestamp available, okay? I'm going to go ahead and give you guys your astrology for the month, and this is for the sun sign of Gemini. They can bleed into a rising as well, but it's usually meant for a sun sign, but you can still take what resonates with you as well, or what you see will resonate. Okay, Gemini, so in August 2017, your emphasis may be upon solving domestic problems while enhancing your psychological strength. You may also find yourself directing your efforts towards renovation of your home, whereas you may have the support of the planet Venus for such ventures. And this month is favorable for a transition from independence and enterprise to social skills and adaptability. You may have to adapt yourself to situations and other people. You may find that others and their interests seem to be more important, as you can accomplish your objectives in life through social grace. In terms of career, planetary aspects do not seem very favorable and progress may be slow. With the addition of Mercury retrograde this month, you may find that this causes further delays in business as well. Gemini, due to planetary influences, you may find yourself reducing your focus on monetary goals. You may find advice and encouragement from your seniors regarding any future financial ventures. In terms of love, relationships, and partnerships, for coupled Geminis, you may find that your partnership is becoming or may becoming romantically stronger. Given you shall be able to solve domestic problems without effort, and family environments shall be harmonious. For the single Geminis, August 2017 may be a good month regarding your romantic life. You may fall in love this month and may have fun and pleasure in doing so. In terms of health, you may find that your health is rather excellent. However, proper rest and sufficient breaks may be necessary to perpetuate this great vitality. Overall, Gemini, August 2017 forecasts a period of bliss when it comes to love and family. Okay, let's bless the deck and then we'll get started with the shuffling and the reading. Guardian angels of love and light, ancestors, lost and known in the seas of time, please intercede into this reading to provide Gemini with the clarity and direction as to which he or she seeks, and please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay every single message as they're meant to be. Okay, Gemini, we're coming into the reading with the Hanged Man there in reverse. Okay. So, Gemini, I can see from what Father God has revealed that, let's see. I feel a real transformation coming on or coming forward, or maybe is at the fore. And I'm also picking up, Gemini, like, I feel like it's like this, or that this card specifically popped out, is because right on top of it, we have the Five of Wind, or the Five of Swords, which has to do with fear. I mean, it says fear here, obviously, but the Five of Swords, when it says fear, it just means like fear in having to fight a battle. But I kind of feel, Gemini, like it's a battle that you're kind of fighting, but normally when I see the Five of Swords, I kind of say it's a battle really of one. That's usually what I always say. But I feel, Gemini, like other people are going to maybe look at this and say, like, why are you being like this? Or they're going to question, this battle. And people may not understand it as of now or right now, but I feel like it's something that's necessary, Gemini. Like I feel it's something that you're seeing maybe in yourself that you know needs to be corrected, or that that needs some work. And also I want to say that I'm feeling like it needs work as well, just for the simple fact that it's going to help you. I don't want to say deal with other people. That's not really what I'm going for. It's going to kind of help you get along with people a little bit more. Because I do see here in your thoughts, you have the 10 of Cups, or 10 of Water. You also have the 10 of Wind. Also the 10 of Swords in reverse. So Gemini, I feel like, I don't want to say it's a battle with yourself, but it's more like I'm having a little bit of a tough time kind of relaying this information. I feel like maybe in your mind, you've kind of seemed and came to the point where it's like, you don't really want to argue with people per se too much now. You just want to just get along. But it's not like you're giving up or like you're doing it for a specific reason. Like it's kind of like, not like with the motive. I kind of feel like it's just, you're seeing that things happen in this world and you just want to kind of get along with everyone, and you really don't want to argue the point per se about stuff that's like meaningless. So that's what I'm picking. There we go. Thank you. Stuff that's meaningless. I think you're starting to kind of see that it's just, why argue or be on the defense, right? Of stuff that really isn't maybe better for the whole, or isn't better for the masses in terms of maybe like your family or people that you involve yourself with. But I'm seeing here, Gemini, that I see the mindset is right. It's there. But I get a sense of fear of like maybe letting your guard down. You may think that, or you may feel that it's maybe, I'm picking up like a sign of weakness, but it's not, Gemini. I feel like you may feel like that, or you may have fear in terms of, okay, if I let my guard down, like who's going to try and, come and infiltrate, or who's going to try and come in that circle, and who then kind of feeling like if you put yourself in a moment or in a situation of vulnerability, that you feel like people will maybe take advantage of you. But I really don't feel like that, Gemini. I feel like you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And in order for you to learn a lot about yourself, Gemini, or to learn those specific traits that you want to maybe rid yourself of, you're going to have to be vulnerable, Gemini. Like and when you notice, or when you put yourself in that position of being vulnerable, just with yourself, it allows you to see what really your weaknesses are, or what comes at you that triggers you. Because then when you are vulnerable, you are more mindful of the things that go on that don't serve you, or that you see that makes you feel some type of way. And with the hangman here, I kind of feel like this is what's happening. Like, you've made this decision. You're no longer hanging out, just observing things. Like, I feel like you've gathered all the information that you've kind of needed. I'm not saying that you have it all, because no one has it all. But I feel like you've gathered enough information, Gemini, to notice this and to then see, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this leap of faith, and I'm going to put myself in that position where I can then be vulnerable enough so I can notice these things. I feel like this is in your mind. And I also feel like with the 10 of wind here, like the 10 of swords in reverse here, it can also, I mean, when I see the 10 of swords here, 10 of wind here, I kind of feel like it can lead to, or maybe it entails theatrics a little bit, or maybe with the sense or with the motive of trying to avoid a disaster. But in this spread with these surrounding cards here, I kind of feel like you maybe have seen that you kind of maybe were doing things in a theatrical manner, or maybe you have seen the error of your ways in a sense, especially with the 7 of wind here as well. I mean, like this, like the 7 of swords. You've either caught yourself, or you're about to see or catch yourself in terms of the things that you do that make you feel like you have to maybe put on a show. But when I say a show, it's not like you're doing it for like a selfish reason. It's more of like having to just kind of throw things off and having to kind of just play the part that you are okay, which I'm not saying that you're not, but just, you know, kind of just, you know, Gemini, when we tend to do this, when we tend to play the part, whether that's for a selfish gain or not, what we tend to do is we further push ourselves or put ourselves in that box of not being true to ourselves and not being true to other people. And I feel like maybe, Gemini, people are starting to maybe catch on to this, or to see this within you. Maybe they're calling you out upon how this transpires, or how you then, you know, give whatever it is that you're giving, whether it's the situation, whether it's solutions, whatever the case may be, giving that portion or that section of yourself where people then see that it's like, well, why did you do that if you said this kind of thing? And I feel like you're seeing this, and now you're coming to the point where it's like, okay, you know what, like, I really do need to change this about myself. I really do have to transform this part of myself, because I feel like, Gemini, you don't want to do this anymore. You don't want to hide anymore. When I say hide, I mean like hide how you really feel, because you do want the 10 of cups. It's in your mind, Gemini. And with the fire, I'm sorry, the father of fire here, like the king of wands, you have came, or you're coming up with this notion that you need to change. And I actually see that you are implementing it. And with the chariot here, you could be dealing with the Cancer. I feel, Gemini, or you could be dealing with the Scorpio as well. Maybe changing for this person, or changing for that reason, either a Cancer or a Scorpio. I'm kind of coming up with maybe your mother's a Cancer and maybe your significant other's a Scorpio. I don't know. I mean, hate saying stuff like that, but you get what I'm saying. Or also maybe you can have Cancer in a specific planet, maybe like Venus. That could be it too. And now you're implementing this sensuality. But when I say sensuality, I kind of mean like more like a sensitivity into your mindset in terms of how you want things done and how you want your future to be. And in your mind, I like this card, Gemini. I really feel like it's a good card, because this is actually implementing the changes that you want to see done and happen. The father of fire here, or the father of wands, king of wands, is someone who makes those decisions and adds to their environment appropriately, but also adds to their environment creativity. Other kings or other fathers, in terms of the cards and the suits, the court cards, they tend to implement things, but they're very structured sometimes. But the father of fire here, he's someone who implements creativity, but who knows what they want to do because it's going to work. So therefore, he implements those changes because he knows how they're going to possibly manifest. And that's a good thing because this is change, but it's viable change. And now, we can't always be confident to know that these creative motives are going to change or they're going to work with the situation. But that further puts you in that position to then see what's strong and what's not, where the threshold is. This is a learning card as well, but this is someone who knows. And I feel like with the Chariot here, you're moving forward with this action. But Gemini, I mean, why the fear? Why is there fear here? I feel like I said, fear of maybe not trusting yourself, Gemini, with the High Priestess in reverse here. But then we have the Three of Earth here, Three of Pentacles. Are you in fear that it's actually not going to maybe work, but you're still implementing it? It's a risk that you have to take, Gemini. And like I said, the risk only will reap some type of benefit. But I really don't feel like it's going to be a bad thing. But I do feel, Gemini, that if you don't trust yourself and you don't trust your decisions based upon your own merit and upon your own scruples, what it is that you're planning on doing and how you want to go about it will end up preventing you from actually making the correct decision. Or you may be so involved in that, being in that box, you know, of seeing, okay, this is not going to work, this is not going to work, this is not going to work, kind of doubting yourself a little bit, is going to then put some maybe rose-colored glasses on a little bit, or it's going to put you into maybe like tunnel vision, where then you'll be so focused on this fear that you're not going to see everything else that's happening around you. Seeing other people that are maybe there, supposed to be there, or are not supposed to be there. I like how the Seven of Wind here, the Seven of Swords, also says many tongues at the bottom there. It's a lot of different things going on, a lot of different people involved in it. So it's kind of hard, it gets convoluted sometimes to see who are the proper people that are supposed to be there and who is not supposed to be there. And I feel like when this fear dissipates, Gemini, and when you do begin to trust your intuition here with the High Priestess in reverse, when you change that, when you have that confidence in yourself, you're then going to see who's supposed to be there and who's not. I'm also picking up on maybe not speaking of certain things around certain people as well. The Nine of Wands in reverse here. This is kind of giving up or laying your wands down, Gemini. This is not, you're just laying your wands down, but you're not trusting your intuition that people are going to work together because maybe you're in fear that you'll catch people or that there's other motives. Like, I really feel, Gemini, like this is like I said, the fear that people are going to push you or they're going to come over or press over your boundaries. But Gemini, this is reestablishing, and that's why I'm saying reestablishing, because you've already established your boundary lines in the past. Now you're reestablishing them. But you need to go into that moment of vulnerability, but still be mindful of other people's motives and of their plans. And the only way that you can maybe possibly see that is putting yourself into that vulnerability, right? And seeing who tries it. Who wants to come in and try and screw everything up or try and push you or try and direct you into the wrong area or into the wrong trajectory. I feel, Gemini, when this happens, you're going to see a lot of people are going to, let me rephrase that. You're going to see people's motives and why they are there and what their purpose is. But you're going to see it from a different perspective now. You're no longer going to hang out and wonder about the motives of other people because you're going to see them now. Because not all people are like this though, Gemini. But when we lay our wands down and we actually, like I said before, when we lay our wands down and we just don't want to fight anymore and we're just like, come on, like let's find a solution, right? You then see if people have that little tiny section of coming in and of stirring crap up, right? Stirring the cauldron. They're gonna do it. And when that happens, you see that and you're saying, oh hell no. Like you can then catch them and see who's willing to work together and who's willing to be there for your own gain, but in a positive manner. But you're going to have to trust yourself, Gemini. I'm also picking up being mindful of it, but don't be paranoid of it. Don't let this fear, don't succumb to it. Be mindful of it, but don't let it control you and of your actions and of your plan that you have here. Because without fear here, this is great. Ten of Swords in reverse. I mean, we can even look at that, Gemini, as being the worst has happened. Now we need to rest. And how are you going to rest? By just changing the way that you do things. And therefore, you're going to get a different result. But it's all going to be a learning curve, though. Nothing comes easy, and we cannot be very certain that we are going to know what's going to happen. Just like the High Priestess in reverse here. Also, High Priestess in reverse can also entail or, mean there may be some secrets involved. Maybe either from you or from the other people. I'm also picking up maybe from the other people. But maybe this is your secret, Gemini. But it's not a secret with injurious motives behind it. This is so you can change yourself, Gemini. So that you can have that transformation with the Death card here. But you're not going to have it if you succumb to the fear and you don't trust yourself. And you don't see who's supposed to be there and who's not supposed to be there. You've already seen, Gemini, that aspect of you is not supposed to be there anymore. So you have trusted in that at least to move forward with that. But you're going to have to trust yourself all the way, Gemini. You can't trust yourself half the way. Don't do anything half-assed unless you're willing to be half-happy, Gemini. And I mean that in the most respectful way. You're going to have to either go all the way with it or all the way without it. You can't straddle the fence when it comes to situations as so, especially when it comes to transforming yourself. You can't straddle the fence because the minute that you think about that or that you actually do that, you're not going to do it completely. It's not going to come to to complete fruition. And also, even when you think about maybe straddling the fence, just the fact that you even think about that little piece also puts you in a position where you're already thinking about going back. It's okay to revisit things, but don't have the fear and don't let it happen, Gemini. See, fear, death, Three of Pentacles, High Priestess in reverse. The fear and the High Priestess in reverse have to do with each other. We can't do that. Okay? Be confident in your abilities, Gemini, and be confident in your own intuition, and be confident with actually working with it, right? Working maybe with your intuition so you can have the transformation, but you won't have it with the fear. Okay, let's check out your second spread here. Okay, Gemini, here's the second set. Now, when I see this, it leads me to think, once again with the fear, like there's a confliction here. The Sun, great card. A+, for sure. I like it. However, we have the Two of Water and then the Five of Water. So Two of Cups, Five of Cups. These are conflicting cards. The Two of Cups, like it says a sacred cord. Yeah, the union of two souls. The Five of Water, spilling or just feeling disconcerted, feeling sad, feeling left out, leaving yourself in despair and hopelessness. So these are two completely conflicting ideals with different cards, even though they're both water or cups. Then we have the devil in reverse here. We also have resurrection, which is also judgment in reverse as well. When I see it with the sun, I keep going back to this fear here. I feel like, Gemini, you may be in fear of feeling like this, of feeling like you're going to be left in despair, Gemini. But I really don't think that you are, because you're, like I said, you're going to be making these choices and these decisions for yourself, which is great. But don't let that fear override everything that's important here. Don't backtrack, Gemini, and go into your old ways. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to change those old ways, Gemini. And I have a feeling like, or I'm seeing here, that it's kind of like this fear, Gemini, is going to go, it's going to affect your vitality in terms of the energy that you have to apply this change, right? But this fear is going to seep into, or not really out of, but more into. It's going to seep into or intercede into your vitality. And there's going to be two possible outcomes, Gemini. You're either going to have the Two of Cups or you're going to have the Five of Cups. And I feel, Gemini, like with the devil here in reverse, I also feel you could be dealing with the Capricorn maybe. I also feel, Gemini, with the resurrection here in reverse, or judgment in reverse here, that there's going to be a period where you may not learn your lesson in terms of not changing or doing things the way that you used to, that no longer serves you. But you're letting go of that which binds you. So when I see this, I'm picking up, I'm interpreting it in a very unusual way right now. Is that you're going to go back to the old way of thinking, and it's going to lead you into the Five of Cups or Five of Water way, where now you're allowing the devil card, or that which binds you, you're allowing it to control you. And therefore, you may come to a point where you'll see that maybe you haven't learned your lesson. But if you don't allow this fear, I'm having a feeling, Gemini, like this fear, this Five of Swords here, is the devil card. There is a very strong connection with them in this reading, I feel. You want to switch from this, and I feel like you want to come out of it. And you are coming out of it. You want to come out of it. And you're working towards it, and you're putting it into action or into motion. But you're still allowing a little bit, a residual of it, a scintilla of it, Gemini, to affect you. And you're never going to reach this Two of Cups moment, Gemini, if we keep on, or if you, sometimes I say we, meaning you. I just say we as a collective. This is not going to work, Gemini. You won't reach this point because you've already identified, Gemini, that this is a problem, whatever the case may be, or that it doesn't serve you anymore. So if you continue to go along with it and continue on that path, Gemini, you've already established to yourself. You've made the decision to yourself, Gemini, that this is not the way to go, and that it now annoys you, or that it's become a problem. And when you continue to go down that path, one, you're not going to transform. Two, the fact that you aren't transforming is going to bug you because you've already identified that there's a problem. It's different when we are oblivious to some of the things that we do. Not that we don't allow it to affect us, but we don't see that it's a problem. So therefore, it's not at the fore and we don't realize it. So therefore, it's at the bottom, of the list. It's in our subconscious and we're just acting the way that we do. But when we identify the problem, we continue to let fear override and not wanting to change and go into that moment of vulnerability so that change can happen and it can implement, Gemini. It's going to be on your mind. Going back to catching, I feel like you are seeing this now. But you're going to have to change it, Gemini, because now it's no longer serving you and it's going to continue to be a problem. The devil in reverse here. Sometimes when I see the devil in reverse, I also kind of look at that, Gemini, as being not really understanding that there is something there maybe, or that it's coming back. It's creeping back up and not seeing the slick little ways as to how it happens. Realizing or recognizing the triggers, not recognizing when the devil's in reverse, not recognizing that they are still there, that there is still unresolved crap that needs to get worked out or needs to get flushed down the toilet. That was a weird analogy, but you understand what I'm saying. There are residuals left, and when we leave little bits of residuals, on the floor, remnants of whatever it is, in this case, the crap, the poop, when we leave little remnants of it and we step back sometimes, we're going to step in it. And then what? I don't say you're back to square one, but now you're left dealing with it again. But you're going to have to push it away. You're going to have to be done with it so that you can have the union of two souls. When I see this, it could be with another person, Gemini, but I really feel like in this spread, this is more you with your physical body and your spiritual body, or your spiritual soul, I should say. Trusting yourself. Trusting yourself and not holding back and not holding any secrets in terms of with yourself. Denial. You're going to have to let it go, Gemini, because you've already recognized that it's a problem. You can't run away from it now that you recognize it. And you're actually working on it. Do not allow this fear to just debilitate you to the point where you can no longer move forward with it or work on it. Because you don't want the Five of Cups. Who the hell does, right? You want the Two of Cups, the happiness. And you also want people to work together, not only in the circle, but just outside of the circle with you. You want the harmony. You can get the harmony, but it's going to require some work on your end, but you're going to have to be vulnerable to see where the harmony needs work, the areas that need work so you can get the harmony. Okay? Okay, let's pull some advice cards. Okay. What happens, Gemini, when we don't add sensitivity to our environment, or we don't add, or when we cut our emotions out of it? Out of situations when we don't maybe approach them in an emotional manner. Now, I'm not saying completely succumb to allowing emotions to control everything. No, of course not. But when we don't have that sensitivity, or we don't see those things in us that need to be changed, and we don't go into the vulnerability, because a Mother of Cups upright is someone who is vulnerable. They talk about their feelings and they talk about the things that they want, and because therefore they know what they need. They're willing to put themselves out there enough because they know what comes from it. Better opportunities and better situations come from it when you are vulnerable than not. But when we don't do that, Gemini, we act a certain way, or we come off a certain way. When when we hold secrets with ourselves or to ourselves, about ourselves, when we aren't honest and we don't trust our intuition as to what we need to do. When we do that, Gemini, we're portrayed a certain way. We portray ourselves to other people a certain way. And we don't get the public recognition or the recognition that we want because we can't even be honest with ourselves. And how do you expect other people? See, Gemini, how you feel inside is how how you portray yourself and how people see you. It's what you exhibit in a subconscious manner. People aren't going to see that vulnerable side of you or see that you are willing to change and you want to, because you want the 10 of Cups. Here it is. It's in your mindset. But are we going to apply it to the situation, or we're just going to continue to think about it? Those are two whole different things, Gemini. The Chariot in your mind, in your thoughts. This is, representative of Cancer. See, this is the dualism coming together with the dark and the light. I want to say, Gemini, that I'm picking up that this is coming together, the union of two souls, right? Of your physical body and of your spiritual soul. Physical body, spiritual soul. Are you going to bring them together? And also, Cancer in general is someone who's very selfless. They make sure that everyone else is okay before they worry about themselves. I'm not saying completely do that, but it's a characteristic. And if you would like to develop this characteristic to see what would happen and take a leap of faith, you're going to have to give up something, Gemini. You're going to have to give up your vulnerability or being in that space. Because then people don't see that we want to change, and then we don't exude our newfound changes. We don't show it because we're in fear, Gemini, in fear of what may come. And yeah, things are going to move in your favor, but when they move in this type of favor, you end up in the cage, Gemini. The 10 of Wands. You end up carrying the burden, and you're going to continue to carry the burden. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's easy to make the decision to change, turn this up, right? And you want to. You're implementing change, but how much are you implementing? Maybe not enough. But it's good that it's starting. But don't let the fear control your actions. I forgot who got this message last month, but faith and fear require that you let go of something or you apply something. But what's it going to be? They require the same thing, Gemini. Faith and fear. Which one are you going to choose? And the one that you choose, it's going to move. But where is it going to put you? Because the universe, God, Spirit, whoever you confide in, is going to continue to present you with situations that corroborate or that align with the way that you feel about yourself and what you're putting out into the world. Because you're going to constantly see that you're in situations where that holds to be true. So when this happens, but the fear overrides and you don't change those things or change up your swag in terms of how you want to apply the situation and move into a different space, when you do all that and you prevent all that from happening, you end up carrying the burden, Gemini. So is it faith or fear? Which one is it going to be? Yeah. 3 of Wands in reverse. Making a decision but saying, When the Three of Wands is in reverse, I look at that as you made a decision, but are you coming or are you going with you? Like you're giving someone else an ultimatum. Like you're going to do this regardless. The Three of Swords in reverse. Coming out of a period of heartbreak. Because you made this decision where I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and this is what I'm going to do, and that's how I'm going to do it. And being adamant about it. And also the Three of Wands in reverse can also mean not making the proper decision. But don't be in fear that you'll make the wrong decision. Why? Because the Star is the next card underneath the deck. Hope. This card, well, also you could be dealing maybe with an Aquarius, but this card specifically, Gemini, requires you to be naked, requires you to be vulnerable. Having one foot, I know I said don't straddle the fence, but having one foot out on earth and one foot in the water. But it's not straddling the fence, it's combining the two souls. Combining the two areas. Maybe like the Two of Cups, a sacred cord, developing that cord. But it's going to be your choice, Gemini. Faith or fear, which one is it going to be? Your faith hath saved you, go in peace. Luke 7:50. Is it going to be faith, Gemini, or is it going to be fear? Because fear puts you into the cage, Gemini. You're going to have to make the decision. Don't be scared that you're going to make the wrong one, because when you put your mind and your faith and everything else into God, He's never steer you in the wrong direction. But you're going to have to trust. And you're going to have to be vulnerable, Gemini. That's the only way that it's going to happen. There's no getting around it. Because you're going to continue to carry the burden and be in the cage. Okay, Gemini, this concludes your reading. Check out Luke chapter 7. Pretty sure something's going to be in there for you. I always say chapter 7. It's weird. Luke 7. Check it out. Pretty sure there's going to be something in there for you. Okay, Gemini? All right. We'll see you August 15th through the 31st. Or the 30th? I want to say 30th. Okay? Choose faith, Gemini. That's what it requires.